Hi, it's time for more questions. This time, open-ended questions, so the ones we create with words such as what, when, where, and why, and the ones that you cannot answer with a yes, no response. And before we begin, if you haven't seen previous videos from this particular series, make sure to do so before you watch this one. I'm including the links in the description below. Ready to start? I am. Let's begin. Step 1. Create some statements as you have already learned in the previous videos of grammar made easy and simple. I prepared some of my own to show you how. I live in Europe. You learn English to travel and to talk to anyone. They cook pasta because they love it. She sleeps in on Sundays. He plays cards with friends at his house every weekend. Step 2. Create yes-no questions to your statements. As you already know, all you have to do is to add do or does at the beginning of every statement. So, I live in Europe will turn into do I live in Europe? You learn to speak English so you can travel and talk to anyone will turn into do you learn to speak English so you can travel and talk to anyone? They cook pasta because they love it will transform into do they cook pasta because they love it? She sleeps in on Sundays will change into does she sleep in on Sundays? And he plays cards with friends at his house every weekend will change into does he play cards with his friends at his house every weekend? Step 3. Add what, when, where, why in front of your questions to make open-ended questions. So using my examples, we can create many varieties of questions. Do I live in Europe? Where do I live? Why do I live in Europe? Where do I live in Europe? Do you learn to speak English so you can travel and talk to anyone? Why do you learn to speak English? When do you learn? How do you learn? Another question, the original one. Do they cook pasta because they love it? We might create questions. Why do they cook pasta? How often do they cook pasta? Where do they cook pasta? And one more. Does she sleep in on Sundays? We can create questions. When does she sleep in? How often does she sleep in? And why does she sleep in? And a final example. Does he play cards with his friends at his house every weekend? Questions? Why does he play cards? When does he play cards? Who does he play cards with? Where does he play cards? And how often does he play cards? Time for step 4. Practice, practice, and more practice. Here's a little practice sheet for you and my few examples how to get you started. Remember that you can download a free bigger version of this particular exercise along with all the answers by clicking the link below. Okay, my turn. Let's see what are some questions that I can create. Where do you live? How often do they see their friends? Who does she go to the gym with? Why does she stay up so late? Now it's your turn. Put some of your questions in the chat below and let me know how well you're doing. And look out for some more practice of present simple questions and answers coming your way very, very soon. And remember to set the notifications to inform you about my upcoming films. Subscribe, like, share, join me and others while we practice English the easy and the effective way. And remember, if you want to join me and my students learning to speak English through practice that brings immediate results, join us at kathighton.pl. at kathighton.pl, so that's my email, and the webpage kathighton.pl. We are looking forward to learning fun and effective way together. See you soon. Take care.